Hey everyone, so I want to make another video. So I want to talk about a deck that I really enjoy. I did not create this deck, but I have been wanting to build it for months. And finally, I just got the pieces assembled, and I have been using this deck recently. So I just wanted to talk about SecCon Mother D Reaper Edition. So the original deck idea is from a list that I got from Digimon Meta. So I will link it in the comments, but I just want to talk about this deck. So SecCon Mother D Reaper Edition. So Mother D Reaper, you can run four of them. Um, so there's not really a point not to run for Mother D Reaper. The only times that would really come up is if you are playing against a deck against a raid deck, or against a deck that targets the highest DP Digimon. For example, Gallantmon Crimson mode. So Mother D Reaper counts as a Digimon. Um, it is a Digi-Egg card, but as soon as the Digi-Egg is hatched, then it is a Digimon. Mother D Reaper is the only Digi-Egg that has DP. So basically, you hatch Mother D Reaper, you push Mother D Reaper out. It's now a Digimon on your field. So, if your opponent tries to raid into you, or if they use something like delete the highest play cost, no, the highest DP Digimon, then your Mother Reaper becomes the fodder. So they don't raid into your other Digimon, they raid into Mother Reaper, or Crimson Mode would attempt to delete Mother Reaper, keyword being attempt. So it does target Mother D Reaper. Mother D Reaper is targetable. It just does not affect Mother D Reaper. But most of the time you only really need one Mother D Reaper. But it doesn't hurt if you're playing against a raid deck or some kind of deck where oh, they're running some kind of removal or some kind of raid. Then you can just push out multiple Mother D Reapers. There is a misconception from many people that you can't have more than one Mother D Reaper in play. You can absolutely have more than one Mother D Reaper in play. It's just that you can't use Mother D Reaper's effects to put a searcher under Mother D Reaper if you have more than one. But you aren't playing any searchers in this deck, so you don't really need it. So basically, 15,000 DP. The only so it does serve as raid fodder, and like removal fodder. But this build does use the gatekeeper, so having Mother D Reaper is very important, just so you can get that extra recovery going. So there's four Quadramons. Quadramon is pretty good. So it is a security Digimon. Since you aren't really digivolving as much in this deck, you don't have too much draw power. So this Quadramon is just really good. So security, at the end of the battle, play this card without paying its memory cost. On play, trigger, draw 2. So you can also hard play this for 6, just if you need to draw 2. For example, if you are at 3 memory, your opponent has a memory setter out, you just play this for 6 because they're going to go to 3 anyways. Just to draw 2 in case you don't have anything better to do. And then also I'll talk about the combo with this card later. Next. Whoops. Wait. I'm missing a card somewhere. Oh, okay. Next, you're playing 4 BT1 Magna Angimon. So Magna Angimon is just good. 7 cost. On play, trigger recovery +1 from deck. And it is 6,000 DP, so it does work with Flame Hell Scythe. It does have an inheritable. Your turn, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP for every 3 security cards you have. So the inheritable could honestly come in handy, but what's really good is just the recovery +1. There are cards out there like Holy Wave that recover for 6 cost, but you don't get a body out. This gives you a body for 7 cost. So it just costs 1 more than Holy Wave, but then you still recover. You get the body out. This can be recurred with Flame Hell Scythe. This can digivolve into a bigger Digimon. So this is just really good. and then 2 Shakomon. So I have seen some deck lists out there that instead of using Shakomon, they use EX4 Terurimon or EX4 Wendigomon, because you are playing Mother D Reaper. So if you want to go the more aggro route, you can use Terurimon or Wendigomon for 4 costs. So they are pretty cheap to on play. Level 4 with Alliance. So you can just suspend your Mother D Reaper since you already have it out on the field anyways, to get that extra 15,000 DP and then security attack +1. So if you want more aggro, you can definitely add Terurimon or Wendigomon. But I think that Shakomon is in my preferred build, and I like this build better. Just because you sometimes you might want to bridge the gap with the Quadramon. If you have the Quadramon, and you kind of want to go into your level 6, or if you kind of think, oh, it costs 4 to Digivolve, but I do get to recover, so it's like 4 cost recovery, so that's also pretty good as well. But just the Shakomon being able to bridge from Quadramon to your level 6s, or Quadramon for 4 costs to recover, is also pretty neat. So I like the Shakomon more than the Terurimon / Wendigomon. It also has this inheritable: when attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn. So if you Digivolve, you have 5 or less security, then you recover 1. Unfortunately, you don't have any yellow level 4s, so you can't DNA Digivolve with this in this deck. And then currently, BT1 Seraphimon, 3 of them. Of course, when BT14 comes out, then we'll get the better Seraphimon. So that Seraphimon, when Digivolving, recover +1. And then all turns, once per turn, when you add a card to your security stack, you get security attack +1 and then minus 7,000 DP to one of your opponent's Digimon. So that one costs 4 to Digivolve. So it does cost 1 more, but just being able to get more control of the board, being able to get rid of your opponent's Digimon while you try to outlive them, that BT14 Seraphimon is just better. So this would probably be replaced by the BT14 Seraphimon when it comes out. But this one's pretty good for what it does currently. When Digivolving, recover +1. Your turn effects: when you have 3 or more security cards, this Digimon gains security attack +1. So this is the Digimon that is very important for this deck. So it is another level 6. Opponent's turn: when a card is removed from your security stack, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. So this is very important. So the way that Shadow Seraphimon's effect works is that your opponent checks your security, or if any other way that your card is removed from security, like if they trash it or something. But like when a card is removed from your security, and assuming that it is checked, effects happen before Digivolve, but Digivolve still happens before the battle. So if they flip something over like a Holy Wave, then you would resolve the effect of the Holy Wave first, so you recover 1, and then you Digivolve. Or if they flip like a Flame Hell Scythe, then you resolve that effect first. You give something minus 6,000 DP. You play out hopefully a Magna Angimon from your trash, and then you Digivolve. So if you flip over an option or a Tamer, the effect of that card resolves, and then you Digivolve their Digimon. But if they flip over a Digimon, like if they attack into like another Shadow Seraphimon in your security, and then they are like currently a level 6. So Shadow Seraphimon is revealed from security, or any other Digimon you have from security. And then before the battle actually happens, they Digivolve 1. And then the battle happens. So if they are like a 7,000 DP Digimon under their level 6, then Digivolve, and then the 7,000 DP would be battling the Shadow Seraphimon, and then it would be deleted. So it's just important to note that this thing causes your opponent to de-digivolve and then battle the security Digimon. So this is really good. If they're a level 6, they'll probably lose unless they have like more level 6s. Like, for example, War Greymon into War Greymon X, then they still have a lot of DP. But if they are a level 6 on top of level 5, and then they are battling a security Digimon, the chances increase for you that you will win the security battle, and then they will be deleted. And then this de-digivolve is not once per turn. It's every time a security card is removed from your security. So you can de-digivolve multiple times a turn. You can choose which Digimon to de-digivolve. So it's just a really good control card. On deletion, recovery +1 from your deck. Then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn for each card in your security stack. So you recover 1, and then you subtract 4,000 DP on one of your opponent's Digimon for each card you have. So if you have 4 security cards after the recovering, then you give something minus 16,000 DP. So this is just good. It's just good for control, and I find that just being able to slow down your opponent while you build up your board state is just really good for this deck. Oh. And then we have ADR 9 Gatekeeper. So Gatekeeper security effect. So you play this Digimon from your security without battling and without paying the memory costs. So when they attack your security, you reveal this. There's no battle. This just goes into play right away. And then this is why we are running Mother D Reaper. Since you have Mother D Reaper out, then you recover 1. This opponent's turn effect does not matter at all because your Mother D Reaper will not have any sources. But just being able to recover 1 from this card is pretty good. This card and the Quadramon card combo very well with Tactical Retreat, and I will get to that in a bit. And then I'm just playing 1 Def Xmon. So Def Xmon, more for the control side of things. If you want to build up your board state while still controlling your opponent, Def Xmon is just pretty good. Usually you can play Def Xmon for really cheap, especially if your opponent is flooding the board with many Digimon or many Tamers. You can just usually play this for cheap, and then on play, de-digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon, then delete all of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, and then end of opponent's turn, once returned, delete all of your opponent's Digimon at the lowest play cost. So honestly, just a really good control card. I may consider adding more, but the deck list that I got this from only used 1. And then, of course, for Karikamiya BT8, so she's a memory setter. You start your turn at 3, and then once per during your turn, when a card is added to your security stack, then you can suspend Kari to gain 1 memory. So with all the recovery effects that you are running, it's just really easy to suspend Kari to gain that 1 memory. For example, instead of, playing Magna Angemon for a net 7, you play Magna Angemon for 7, you recover, you suspend Kari, so Magna Angemon basically comes out for a net 6, or Flame Hellscythe for 6, get Magna Angemon recover, so that comes out for a net 5. So Karikamiya is just good at basically giving you free hammer sparks when you recover. And then, of course, Karikamiya from BT4. So Karikamiya serves as a purple source for you to be able to Flame Hellscythe. You do have Mimi Tachikawa coming up soon, but you do also need the purple source for the Flame Hellscythe and Chaos Degrade. But Karikamiya is just also really good. For 3 play cost, all turns effect when a card is removed from your security stack, you may suspend this hammer to gain 1 memory. So we aren't running cards like TK Takaishi to remove cards from security, or any cards of our own that remove from security. So only when your opponent removes your security card can you really use Kamiya, but it helps you immensely. Every time they security check you or they trash your card from security, then you can just gain one memory. So it shortens their turn, so then they can less aggro you. So this is just really good. And then two Mimi Tachikawa. 2 costs, all turns. When a player uses an option card, you may suspend this Tamer to gain one memory. So this is pretty simple. When you use an option card, you can basically suspend her to reduce the cost by 1, or to quote unquote reduce cost by 1. Or if your opponent uses an option card, then it quote unquote costs 1 more for them. So this can extend your plays or can shorten your opponent's plays. So this is also pretty good. So these are the only 5 purple sources in your deck for you to use Chaos Degrade or Flame Hellscythe. But currently, right now, I am doing pretty well with these 5. Holy Wave. So 6 costs to use. Main effect, trigger recovery +1. And then security effect, you just also recover +1. So, you would prefer this card to be in security. Recovering for 6 cost is kind of expensive, but, it's still not horrible. Especially if you have a bunch of Karis out. Like, if you have 3 Karis out, then this can be used for a net 3. So it's not horrible to use this, because, 3 cost recovery is also pretty good. But that also depends on your setup. If you have a bunch of Karis out or some Mimi Tachikawas out, then you can quote unquote reduce the cost of this, so it's cheap to recover. But you would honestly prefer this to be in your security. Not that you can help what is in your security, but you don't really want to use this at the very beginning unless you have no other better plays in hand. But as the game goes on, you have more Tamers on board, that's probably the better time to use it. But yeah, this is more like a mid-late game card than an early game card, but still not a horrible card to use if you have nothing better to use. Okay. Tactical Retreat. So 1 cost, then main effect, you can place one of your Digimon on top of your security stack face down, and then security effect recover +1. So this combos amazingly with Cordramon and Gatekeeper, because Cordramon plays itself from security, Gatekeeper plays itself from security, so you can basically get a free recovery with this card. It does cost the 1, but it doesn't really cost you a Digimon like it normally would, because once your Digimon goes to your security and then that security is checked, then it comes back out. So basically it's just a 1 cost recover, especially on Cordramon or Gatekeeper. The extra benefit is that, when Cordramon comes out again, then you draw 2, and then when Gatekeeper comes out again, then you recover 1. So it's just really good. The best thing to do is, for example, with Gatekeeper, you swing at your opponent's security, get that check in, and then you tactical retreat, putting this on top of your security. Then your opponent attacks security, removes the Gatekeeper, you recover 1. So this, when used with Gatekeeper, essentially becomes a recover 2. And then this, when used with Cordramon, basically becomes a recover 1 and then a draw 2. But that is, of course, if your opponent attacks into your Gatekeeper, into your Cordramon. But it's just really good with those 2 Digimon, because you do get the recovery and then possibly another recovery or possibly another draw 2. And then you still get to keep your Digimon, or the Digimon will come out again. So it is just a pretty good card with Gatekeeper and Cordramon in general. Because it's so good to use on security Digimon, there are builds out there that that run Omnimon's Wart Defeat, because it is a security Digimon, so you can use Tactical Retreat on Omnimon's Wart Defeat, put it in security, that security is checked, and then you play out the Omnimon's Wart Defeat. So, some people try to go more heavy on security Digimon because Tactical Retreat is really good. And then, of course, one Reinforced Memory Boost. This card is limited to one, but this does what Holy Wave does, but better. So Holy Wave, you use for 6 costs, and then you recover 1. Reinforced Memory Boost. Main effects, reveal top 2 cards of your deck. Place one of them on top of your security stack face down, add the remaining card to your hand, then place this card in your battle area. So you reveal 2 from your top of your deck, and then you choose which one to add to security. So it's like, selective recovery. And then, you put 1 to security, 1 to your hand, so you do get that draw 1 as well. And then the turn after, or on a future turn, you can just pop this into the trash to gain 3 memory. So this is very good. So you essentially choose which card to recover, you draw 1 card, and then you gain 3 memory on a future turn. Again, since you are adding a card to your security, you can tap any of the yellow Karis, or you can even use Mimi Tachikawa. So this is a pretty good card. Oops. Okay, Lonke Adistacto. I'm only playing 2. So it's 8 cost, and because you are manipulating your security pretty easily in this deck, you can hold this into your hand until you get fewer than 3 security, and then you can just add security enough until you get to 3, and then you can use this for both effects, or you can, just hopefully wait until you get to exactly 3, and then you can use this for both effects. But it's just really easy to, when you are under 3, to add security until you get to 3. So it's just easy to reach the threshold for both effects. So main effect, if you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 DP for the turn. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down on top of their security stack. So if you have like exactly 3, then you neg 12,000 DP to one Digimon, and then you add one Digimon face down to the top of their security stack. So this is just good in this deck because since you're recovering so much, you can easily reach the 3 card threshold in your security. And then Flame Hell Scythe. So 6 cost, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn. Then you play 1 purple or yellow Digimon card with 6,000 DP or less from your trash without paying the memory cost. So unfortunately, the only yellow or purple Digimon with 6,000 DP or less in this deck is the Magna Angimon. So this is also a potential other reason why people run to Ruimon or Wendigomon in their build instead of the Shakomon. So just in case you hit this in security early, and then you don't have the Magna Angimon yet in your trash, if you run to Ruimon or Wendigomon, it does increase the chance of you finding a 6,000 DP or less yellow or purple Digimon early game. So then it would be easier to play this, to use this option and then get a Digimon back onto the field. Because currently this deck only runs 4 of these Magna Angimons. So it is still possible, but if this is checked early, or if you have this in your hand, but you don't really have a target to play out, then it's not as useful as it is once you finally get that Magna Angimon in the trash. So, some builds do play more 6,000 DP or less Terurimon or Wendigomon for this effect. And then 4 copies of Chaos Degradation. So Chaos Degradation is just a pretty good card. So assuming that a Digimon has protection against deletion effects, or DP reduction effects. Chaos Degrade just removes that card. It doesn't send it to the deck. It doesn't send it to hand. It sends it to security stack. And there's not many cards with protection from being sent to security. Ever since this card was printed, there have been more and more cards with protection from leaving the battlefield in any way, but still there are few enough of them that Chaos Degrade is still really good. And even then, this form of removal is less protected against in compared to DP reduction or just regular deletion effects or bouncing to hand or deck. So Chaos Degrade is just still a pretty strong removal card. So you choose one of your opponent's Digimon, send it to the top or bottom of their security stack, and then you trash the top of their security stack. And then the security effect is mostly the same. You choose one of their Digimon, send to the top or bottom of their security stack, but you do not trash the top. So this is still pretty good for removing Digimon. So just a quick summary. Mother D Reaper is used primarily for Gatekeeper. Most of the time you don't really need more than one Mother D Reaper in play. But if you are playing against a deck with Raid or DP based deletion that's targeted, just having more Mother D Reaper out can be useful because they can be used as fodder for your opponent to have to basically whiff their deletion effect. So if they Crimson mode and like this is your highest DP Digimon, then Mother D Reaper would be targeted. It does nothing, but they can't choose a different Digimon to target besides Defexmon in the case that you have equal DP. But most of the time this can be used as fodder. If not that, then you just need one Mother Reaper out so they can just get that recovery when this is checked in security, or in the unfortunate scenario that you had to hard play this from hand. Cordramon on play, it can be played from security if it's checked, or you can play it from your hand, but on play draw 2. And then Gatekeeper on play, recover 1 if you have Mother D Reaper in play. So these two work very well with Tactical Retreat, just so then you can recover and then still get that Digimon out on a future turn. So they can still attack with it. You don't lose a Digimon because you can still get it out later, but you still get that benefit from that 1 cost recovery. Magna Angimon, pretty good. You can on-play this for 7, and then you recover 1, or you can just Flame Hellscythe this out and then recover 1. This can go into your Seraphimon or Shao Seraphimon. Shakomon. So this is mainly for that 4 cost Digivolve on Cordramon. So you give Cordramon some extra utility, 4 costs to Digivolve, and then you recover 1. And this can also bridge the gap between Cordramon and your level 6s. Seraphimon BT1, good for now, but not as good as the BT14 Seraphimon. When Digivolving, recover 1. When you have 3 or more security cards, then you get security attack +1. This one is just really good. This is also why there's 4 of the Shao Seraphimon and there's only 3 Seraphimon. So this is very good at control, and this is what this deck aims to do. You want to build your board while you are removing your opponent's Digimon, and then finally when you have enough Digimon you can swing. Or just removing their Digimon so they lose so much tempo that you can just outpace them. But when a card is removed from your security stack during your opponent's turn, you de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then same thing for the rolling that I talked about before. If they reveal a security Digimon when they're checking, they de-Digivolve first, and then they battle that security Digimon. So it can be very useful to weaken your opponent's Digimon. This is just really good. people don't willingly remove this card, and for good reason, because on deletion you recover one, then you neg 4,000 DP one of your opponent's Digimon, times the number of security cards that you have. So if you have 3 security, this card is deleted. You recover 1, you have 4 security. You give one of your opponent's Digimon 4 times negative 4,000, so you give them minus 16,000. So this is just really good for removal, and for obvious reasons, people don't swing into this Digimon. So, you know, it's good on the field because you keep de-digivolving your opponent's Digimon, and they don't really want to get rid of this. So then they keep swinging, they keep de-digivolving, you keep recovering. So you add the amount of times they can de-digivolve their Digimon. And, you know, they don't really want to remove this. I kind of want them to remove it, but, you know, they know not to remove it. But either if they don't remove it or if they do remove it, then you get useful effects. Either you keep de-digivolving their Digimon, or you can potentially delete one of their Digimon. So this is just a threat on the board. Defexmon, of course, just for controlling your opponent turn after turn after turn. And, you know, in case they are going wide, you have this in hand, you can just board wipe them. Karikamiya, just a good memory setter. Gives you a yellow source in case you need it for your yellow options, but also makes the net cost of your recovery -1. So every time you recover, so the first time that you recover on your turn, then that recovery, whether you Digivolve for 3, or you Digivolve for 4, or you play Magna Angimon for 7, or Flame Hellscythe for 6, or, you know, even on the very unfortunate case that you had to play Gatekeeper for 11, you can just -1 from the net cost for each Karikamiya that you have in play. So it's just really useful for extending your plays, making it better. Three purple Karikamiyas, just so you can reduce your opponent's turns when they attack or otherwise remove your security card. Then you can suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory, so you can shorten their turn pretty easily with this card. And because you keep recovering, then this card has more benefit because you have more chances to gain the memory with this card. And then my cards got mixed up. 2 Mimi Tachikawas. I question the Mimi Tachikawa. Maybe 1 of is okay. I don't think that you really need 2 of, but, you know, I kind of want another Karikamiya just because Karikamiya is frequently more useful than Mimi Tachikawa. But, you know, Mimi Tachikawa might just be more useful in matchups that I haven't had yet. But I think that your opponent is more likely to attack into your security than they are to use an option card. But Mimi Tachikawa is still good, maybe just not in the matchups that I've been playing. But, you know, I kind of want 4 Karikamiyas instead of just 3. But Mimi Tachikawa, when you use an option card as well, you can suspend Mimi to gain 1 memory when you use an option or when your opponent uses an option. Holy Wave. You don't really want to unplay this card. You don't really want to use this card. Considering that Magna Angimon is 7 play cost, comes into the field, so you have a body on the field and you recover. Holy Wave doesn't seem to do as much as Magna Angimon, but it is still a good card to use when you have nothing better to use, and the security effect to recover 1 is just good. Tactical Retreat, good when in security because you just get a recovery +1. But otherwise, you want to use this on Quadramon or Gatekeeper especially, so you can still put them in security and then gain their on-play effects later on. Reinforced memory boost, just a better version of Holy Wave when you're using from hand. So you look top two, choose which one to recover, which one to add to hand. Then on a future turn, you can just crack this for 3 memory. Lonky, just really easy to manipulate your memory to get to 3, so you can use both effects. So you can delete one Digimon, hopefully by reducing DP to 0, then putting one card on security. So you can remove it without deleting it, so you can avoid on deletions altogether. So this is pretty good in this deck just because it is so easy to selectively manipulate your security, so they have exactly 3. Flame Hell Scythe, just general recursion for Magna Angemon. You also DP minus something, so you do control the board slightly while still getting the extra recovery. Chaos Degrade, just pretty good for removing opponent's Digimon that is resistant to DP minus, resistant to bounce to hand, resistant to bounce to deck, has an on deletion or something that you don't want to proc. But yeah, this is just pretty good at removing many different Digimon in this game because there's not many effects that protect against Digimon being bounced to security. Unless they're like a level 7 or a level 6 with a lot of protection. But, you know, there's not many effects that do protect against being bounced to security. So this is just a pretty good card. So yeah, this was the deck profile video. I will link the original deck list in the comments, but this is a fun deck to play so far. I like it. I do still think that the Mimi Tachikawa isn't as necessary. I kind of want to play more Kari Kamiyas. And, you know, I might experiment a little, but I do like this deck as it is. It is still pretty fun to play. And the only change that I really want to make is Seraphimon into BT14 Seraphimon for that extra layer of control. But otherwise, this is pretty good as is. It's still pretty fun to play. And yeah, that's the deck. I will see you all later.